Is Amtrak Acela worth the extra money? How about first class? Let's find out. Hey friends, Jersey Joe back with you once again, and alright, I found an awesome deal online to take the Amtrak Acela down from New York City to Washington, D.C. It wasn't full price, but if you paid a little bit more, you get first class, which includes a meal and unlimited beverages, kind of like first class on an airplane, so is it worth it? Join me on board. It's the only high-speed train in America, running from Boston to Washington, D.C., the Amtrak Acela. I recently took advantage of a sale that scored me a $189 first-class seat from New York to D.C. Hey, that's a lot cheaper than first class on an airline, so yeah, I had to give it a try. The Acela first hit the rails in 2000 with a top speed of 150 miles per hour, and you do see and feel the speed. The train can actually go faster, but it has to share rails with other freight and passenger lines, which slows it down, and the Northeast Corridor is the most traveled line in the American rail system. Alright, so let's get to the train. Now, the first class experience starts before you board the train in the exclusive Acela Lounge. I found it tucked in the corner of Penn Station's main concourse, and it's as dreary and dated as the rest of Penn. Dirty chairs, dark atmosphere, but it was a nice respite away from the craziness of the New York City rush hour. Lacking in style and sadly, no bar, the lounge did feature free cans of Pepsi, coffee, and tea, along with bags of goldfish crackers that, holy cow, went fast. Now, I would never spend any extra cash to get in here, but it was nice and easy to see the board and hear the lounge-only announcements for the Acela. My train arrives on time, and it's onto the first-class car. Now, the car is arranged in a single row on the left and then 2 by 2 on the right, and some of those rows featuring tables. And as soon as the train leaves Penn Station, the attendant is already asking for drink orders and passing out menus. That's great! This is nice. Now, like I said, first class on the Acela is just like first class on a plane. You get a meal and free booze, that's important, along with your traditional assortment of other soft drinks. I went with a Jameson on the rocks, and along with it came 2 bags of Amtrak snack mix, but be careful, holy man, those wasabi peas pack a punch. Next, I was handed a dinner menu. Now, I overheard another passenger saying that these were fairly new choices, so hey, that's kinda cool. The menu consisted of a fruit and cheese plate, a Korean chicken dish, pan-seared shrimp, and a superfruit salad with cabbage and beets. Where's Gordon Ramsay? And man, the food came fast. We were only past Newark Airport and they already started serving the meals. It only took about 15 minutes from the time I ordered mine till it was served. And oh yeah, right about then is when the conductor came through checking tickets, right at mealtime. Now, I gotta be honest though, to my surprise, the food was really, really good. Better than the previous first class meal I had on United Airlines. The shrimp, perfectly prepared and seasoned and succulent. It also came along with a roll and a brownie, and and a fresh refill of booze, and I also had to ask for a Pepsi. Now, I was really impressed by the little tray that everything came on, and hey, that's a real plate and real silverware. The brownie was also succulent, even though at first I bit through the cardboard. Now, before I knew it, we were already in Philly, and then after taking away my tray, the servers came back on through again, asking if anybody needed a refill, and even walking around with a wine bottle, filling up those glasses for the winos. After we passed Philly, the train definitely cranked up the speed. Now, it runs express, so you bypass most of the stops in the Northeast Corridor. And I know if I was a passenger waiting on a platform for another train, I would stand back because that breeze really flies when that train speeds past. Now, I know trains like this are really common overseas, but it's nice to see that we actually have one here in the United States. And the car itself is pretty spotless, but it is showing its age just a bit. Now check this out, there were volume controls on my seat, but I think they were non-existent because they never turned on and they were kind of like an old-fashioned airliner. But not so old-fashioned was the free Wi-Fi, and it also worked pretty well for basic web surfing. Each seat also had a personal outlet, which was great for keeping those electronics going throughout the journey. I saw many people plugging away on their laptops doing business. In addition, the seats are also a really comfy leather. Now, they're a bit warm, but leather's better when it's worn anyhow, right? And there's plenty of space for my feet, and even a little footrest popped out of the seat in front of me. Now, my first-class car featured 2 private restrooms that were definitely a step up from traditional Amtrak fare, but nothing major. This is a spacious bathroom. Yeah, the restroom was kind of big, but also a bit dated as well. It had an upgraded sink area and plenty of room to change if you need to do so before arriving at your destination. And in 2 hours, 45 minutes, we were there in Washington, D.C. So the real deal, was it worth it? Alright, if you could get a sale price like I did, then I would say yes, but I would never pay more than $200 for this service. You're really only saving about 45 minutes off the regular travel time, and yes, the train is upgraded and nicer. The meal to me, though, was worth it, since I would have had to pay anyhow for, say, $30 for the drinks I had, and another $30 for the food in Penn Station. I mean, it was no Michelin star meal, but when you factor in those savings, it kind of balanced out the price point for me. The Acela only has first and business class, and they're basically the same, except in business you don't get the free food and booze. They gotta go to the old-fashioned cafe car. It really is a shame, though, that we can't get more high-speed rail in the United States. I would love to take something like this from New York, say, all the way out west to Vegas or California, if it was definitely fast and cheap enough. Alright, they do have us beat on this type of transportation overseas, but the Acela proves that it could happen here. Come on, politicians, figure this one out. I gotta admit, I really liked my trip on the Acela. It was worth a few bucks more, and I got that Amtrak special too. It'll be special too. Click that like or subscribe button down below so you miss see more episodes of this web show or The Brew. Trusty Joe here in Washington. Thanks for watching. See you next time.